Even just shifting in and out of Gemini, Jesus, it's like a lighthouse. Welcome to the first winter maintenance video for my Cherokee. It's my daily driver. It's super popular on the channel. We do a lot of basic maintenance to it in this episode. Next one will probably paint some other things that just get it look decent and kind of protect it through the winter because it is older and it's Michigan, lots of salt. Big thing with this video is going to be replacing my backup lights, which are very dim from the factory, with the set from Auxito. Auxito was kind enough to send me this pair of backup lights. We're going to go ahead and test them, throw them in the car, see how they do. I'm going to have a link in the description below to a discount code that will save you money and help me out as well. I'm definitely looking forward to partnering with these guys, and it'll be nice to see how much brighter these are. I'm going to do some tests from a couple separate links up against the garage and see how they do. So without further ado, let's get to the video. I'm going to check all the fluids, check the trans, check the differentials, check the transfer case, air pressure, etc. Check all the stuff, grease everything in the front. I'm not going to be able to show you everything. We've got rain coming in. And well, 3 days of rain, so I've got to try to beat that as best I can. It's actually going to start raining tonight. Also, my custom fuel line that I had to make at No Name Nationals to get back home because the line blew up at the junction where it meets at under the passenger floor is holding up great, so that's awesome. I know I've got a power steering leak. I will not be fixing that at this point. I'm simply going to top off the fluid if it needs it and keep an eye on it. It's still good for now. It happens. Yeah, I'm not even going to bother figuring out where it is right now. This car, again, is 23 years old. I paid $1,000 for it. I've got about $1,000 into it. It's doing great for me so far. It's just basically anti-rust at this point, so I'm just going to stick with it. I'll end up checking the transmission again once I have the vehicle running, but I'm just doing a sense check now. And we are good, and the fluid's still clean. The fluid has about, well, I can tell you, the fluid has about 10,000 miles on it, which is not bad, and it's still very clean, which is good. This is one of the only automatic transmissions I like. It actually will work real well. I've had bad luck with everything else. If I can find one with a manual, I'll definitely be getting it. And the plan is at some point, if I ever have the wherewithal to find it, I will be putting a manual in Chambler, but that's far along in the future. I'm also going to be using my last factory Mopar filter. I'm going to have to start using Wake Skin, which is perfectly fine with me, but these were awesome because they were free. Top off the washer fluid later. Brake fluid fill level's good. Cap's in good shape. At some point I might have to bleed the entire brake system, but I'm slowly repairing all the brake lines at this point, so I might as well wait. Check the air filter. Should still be clean. Don't crack, just come off. There we go. Yeah, it's time for a new filter. I'll have to get one on order. Still clean enough to use it until I get a new one. It's not really that bad. I could probably go a little longer with it, but I don't want to maintain that in the dead of winter. Because the likelihood is I will not be getting it in the garage because I've got too many other projects coming up. You will start seeing those projects shortly. I got a lot of stuff I'm doing. I'm actually working on 3 projects at the moment. And then the new project will be in the next couple of weeks. So I got to do a lot of it outside, and I'm going to run out of decent weather to do it. So we'll be seeing that sucker soon. Now let's get that oil change. Well, I find myself underneath my Cherokee for the 9 millionth time. Do the oil change, check and grease the front suspension, clean the wheels, and you'll see that stuff. I'm probably going to zip through the other stuff, and unless something interesting happens, I'll do it off camera. There isn't much on this Jeep that doesn't leak or, has rust on it, but again, it's got so many miles on it, I'm just going to leave everything alone unless I need to address it, because anything you touch leads to more work, and it is my daily driver, so I'm just going to keep it going for as long as I can and keep slipping off the freaking drain plug here. I'm looking forward to installing those Auxito beam backup lights. They have a really cool, different variety of vehicles they cover, including older stuff like this, where they might not have the assembly for it, but they do have conversion lights and all kinds of other stuff. So definitely I'll leave a link below. Definitely go check out their website. And if you find something you like, use my code and you'll get a discount, and I get a small percentage back, which is awesome. I appreciate them supporting small creators like me. So definitely, if you need LEDs, and give them a try, give them a look. It's a little overdue for the oil change. I'm back from No Name National, so it's a good 500 miles over, and it didn't burn any oil. It just leaks a lot of it slowly through pretty much every gasket. If it makes it through another winter, I'll likely put a valve cover gasket on it, and at some point it's probably going to need an oil pan too, because it's starting to get a little crusty. We'll see what we can do and hopefully avoid that. That will not be fun. At least you can take the oil pan out. There's no cross member, so other than lowering suspension, it comes out, so I don't have to pull the engine, which that's awesome at least. At least the front drive shaft U-joint still looks to be in good shape. I gotta remember to grease this joint. It does have a greasable slip joint. Well, I'll have to check the rear one in a bit. I can't quite reach it. I should have just lifted the car up, but I'm getting lazy, I guess. Didn't feel like doing it. I'll check the air pressure too. The tires, a little bit more air pressure would help because I'm skinny enough, but you know, shoulders are only so wide and I got a big torso. I'm big torsoed. Get the oil pan all tightened up and then we'll change the filter and keep moving. The oil filter is down on the passenger side. There's really no way I can show me taking it off. At least not easily. Gotta get a wrench. There we go, got it loose. If you'd like to see a toolbox tour, see what I have for tools or anything else like that, let me know in the comments below and I'll show you my stuff. I did this professionally for quite a while and actually was ASE and state certified. I did largely prototyping work. But you know, I've had a lot of fun. I've done a lot of stuff, made a lot of different vehicles. At some point I'll get a video together of the stills of stuff I did when I was at McLaren. Trying to find a place to digitize them because I've got a lot of photos and I can't do it with my home system. It's not set up for it. I almost forgot to use the filter to get the oil to put on a ring of the new filter. Some slipping sauce there. I'm going to fill the new filter with about a half a quart of oil. Because it put it in on the side, I don't want to dump a bunch of the oil out, but it's always a good idea to put a little bit of oil in there, at least to start up helps out. I'm a fan of castor oil. It's John Force's fault when I was a kid. This is not sponsored, but they're certainly more than welcome to contact me if they so choose. My information is in the description. Actually, if anybody'd like to contact me, my information is in the description. It's pretty simple. It's info6percentrecycle@gmail.com. I will try to respond to any questions you might have, any, you know, legitimate questions you might have. There we go, let's get the engine filled. The 4-liter Jeeps take 6 quarts. I like to put 1 quart of 1040 and 5 quarts of 1030. Just a little mix it, make it a little thicker. It doesn't hurt anything. They basically a tractor engine anyway. Yep, that was great. Definitely not going to win the pour championship. Then what I do is cut the single quart in half and use it as a funnel for the 1 gallon size out of 5 quarts. Makes it a little easier. I don't have to keep a dirty, nasty funnel around. I get as many parts as possible from Rock Auto. Again, that's not sponsored, but their prices are pretty good, and if you have the chance to wait for the products, you save yourself quite a bit of money. I have found that with oil, they don't carry oil, and as much as I don't mind O'Reilly pricing on a lot of stuff, they're a little overpriced on their fluids. So I found the best place to buy it is Walmart and Home Depot or Lowe's. I got this at Lowe's. You can normally save about $10 on the oil overall, at least when you're buying 6 quarts. I have no idea if it's any cheaper on Amazon or any of the other delivery services. I just know for sure that Rock Auto does not carry it. Probably should check on Amazon and see if it is cheaper. Well, ooh, extra bonus oil. Must have been trapped in the handle. I'm gonna leave it there for about a minute, let all the extras drain out. Oh, wow, that's some crunchy convoluted tubing. And we'll start it and see where everything's at. Let's see where she's at. Right there in the good zone. Just gonna check everything over and make sure everything's got grease in it. It's in good shape. Nothing's loose, including the sway bar. I'll check the ball joints afterwards. There's a track bar. Oh, no looseness. Thought I was having a little bit of death wobble issue, but the whole way down to no name and all the way back, and ever since it's nothing. So unless I see something glaring or something damaged, I think I'm good for the time being. Grease everything up, and then we'll get to the main event, the reverse lights. I have got to clean my grease gun. It is just covered in stuff from all the fab work that I did over the last couple months on the Chambler. Yuck. I did some initial light testing last night with the stock lights. I'm going to go ahead and show you what they look like. This first test is with the stock lights. I'm going to take a couple different camera angles to show you the output of these standard lights, and then I'll repeat it once I've changed out for the newer lights. This last test is going to highlight what I see through the back window. First test was approximately 8 feet from my garage door. This next test is approximately 20 feet from my garage door. I'll show you what they look like in the daytime. I'll show you what the new ones look like in the daytime, and I'll do the other testing tonight. We can compare them all, put them all together in a video. Let's get the old ones out. Now we'll see if the fairly common problem happens today. Yeah, it's a pretty common problem that the Cherokee tailgate wants to stick. There's a spot right about here that if you hi-oh, it opens. Get the taillights. There's 3 bolts on each of the Cherokee taillights. They're fairly common to crack, so try to be gentle when you take them off. At least in my area, they're available in the junkyards, but they're getting more and more expensive. I know you can order them from places like Quadra and other areas as well. Good example, these taillights are cracked. There's normally a piece that fits in a little tang down here. I'll go ahead and take the reverse light out. It's going to be the bottom bulb. We'll get to throwing the LEDs in. Packaging is quite nice, just basic. That's what these guys look like. I'm going to go off the assumption you don't want to touch them. I know they're not like halogen bulbs, but it's just easier if I assume that you're not supposed to touch them. Just going to verify that the plug is nice and clean. If it was green or anything else that was wrong with it, I'd go ahead and clean it up, put a little dielectric grease in it, but this one's in great shape. Should be plug and play. I'm going to go ahead and test it just to make sure I've got everything right, and then we'll put them back together. That's awesome. Go ahead and throw it back in the housing, and go ahead and put the light assembly back in. Go ahead and get the upper bolt started, then I'll get the other ones in. I like to tighten anything down like this in series. Don't want to tighten everything down until it's all together. You have less chance of cracking it. Also makes it easier to line up all the bolts when nothing is completely tightened down. I know a lot of people like the air ratchets or the battery ratchets now. Just personally not a fan, never liked them. To each his own. I also do a lot of prototyping work, and you didn't take stuff apart when you were making show cars and stuff. And a lot of that stuff was one-offs. Now we'll get the driver's side. Just realize that maybe not everybody knows how to take these bulbs and the housings out. Basically, I have a double cam system, and it lines up with these notches in the housing. It'll only go one way because the cams are different size. So basically, line it up as best you can, put it into position, and rotate it in place. That's all there is to putting it on. It's basically reverse for taking them apart. You just turn it. It'll tell you. It'll only turn one way. If the stock locator pins are in good shape, you don't have to worry about any alignment issues, but because mine are not, I'm just going to check. It's never a bad idea to check alignment if you have a vehicle where like the trunk lines up with the lights. Just, you don't want to break them. They're not cheap to fix or replace. Good to go. I'll do a quick check again to see how they look in the daylight. Next phase of the light test is going to be when it's dark, and we'll do the comparison. I'll compare them again at the same distances. Now I got to clean the wheels. Let's give these bad boys a once over. They got extra nasty, like I said, going to and from No Name into Missouri. I'm using D-Germ because I do love this stuff. It works great on just about everything. Only run across 1 or 2 things it won't clean up. Even cleans up dog stuff in the house, which when you have 2 extremely large dogs, you know what I mean. Well, if you have 2 small dogs, you know what I mean. If you have 1 dog, a cat, barnyard animals, skunks, you know, whatever you got. Pet skunks, not the, regular generic ones you find out on the road. Run over by a truck kind of skunks. Yeah, these wheels were in very good shape. They're from an 05 TJ I got used for $25 a wheel on Marketplace. They're super duper clean. I'd like them to stay as clean as they can. They're already fighting a losing battle with road salt and everything else, but I'm going to do my best to keep them looking nice. The driver's side was extremely nasty. I'll show you before and after. It's going to be the night testing for the new LEDs. Let's see how this goes. These tests are also being done at the same measurements, 8 feet, 20 feet as measured to the rear tire to the garage door. I've honestly got to say, I'm absolutely amazed at how much brighter these lights are. This is amazing. I've always had trouble backing into my driveway. My driveway's about 65 feet long, and there's not a lot of street lights in my neighborhood, and this makes it honestly amazing. I'm extremely happy. That's going to give me a real good chance to see everything behind me. I'm definitely excited. Even just shifting in and out of Jiminy Jesus. It's like a lighthouse. I noticed in the video that you can't see clearly through the back glass because it's fairly well tinted. So what I'm going to do is leave the hatch open, and as soon as it gets dark, I'm going to drive out as far as I can and measure to the door. We'll get a real accurate reading, and hopefully give you a better indication of how well this does work, because these things were awesome. I'm looking forward to using them in the future. I'm looking forward to doing more partnerships. And again, I'll have a discount code in the video's description, as well as I should be able to put something right here below me as well. That's the very end of my driveway. You probably can't see me anyway. Yeah, it's right at about 64 feet, so I was right. It's basically as far as I can get without being out in the road. And we're now at the very end of my driveway. Hopefully you can see everything. We're just going to go backwards. Just going to show you how impressive these lights actually are. Hopefully you can hear me over the exhaust. I'm thoroughly impressed. Thank you very much for watching the first video in the winter maintenance series. It's going to be on all my vehicles, so I do have to prep some stuff to put away, some stuff to drive, and some stuff just to be freaking done already. And new stuff. A big thank you to Auxito Beam for supplying me with these backup lights. They're awesome. I'm looking forward to working with them in the future, like I've said. If you want to get some of these bad boys, I'll throw the discount code down here, and it'll also be in the description. Like, share. I hope you're in the description, and I will see you soon. More cool content coming at you. Booyah! Oh crap, I ruined my tape measure. All in the name of science. Well, diet science. Well, unfortunately my Cherokee's developed a roof leak, so stay tuned for episode who knows what of Winter of Maintenance. Coming soon.